Hey guys, Terry here. I wanted to introduce you to the if-else section inside of the essential coding reference that we have for our Python for Network Engineers class. So I'm on page 51 of that guide, and what you're going to see is we have the Python if and the else combinations that we can do. And as an example, it goes through and outlines some of the options that we can do as far as comparisons. We have A equals B, A does not equal B, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and examples and explanations as to what each of these individual scripts should, could, and will do for us. However, what I want to do is I want to make certain that we talk about shorthand, because shorthand got kind of confusing for me at first when I started seeing shorthand being used. But what this actually does is it gives me the capability of being able to consolidate a statement on a line. And I can do a shorthand for an if statement, I can do a shorthand for a else statement, and I can actually tag and combine things together all into one line. So you see here I've got print A if A is greater than B, else print equals if A is equal to B. And we have some other examples that you can go through as far as looking at. And it also ties how you can use the Boolean or the logical operator and or into those configurations. So definitely take the time to go through this. I do want to explore this a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one value right here, because remember I said that when we created something using an if statement, the format typically is going to follow, I'll just say Python 3. The format would usually follow the for statement, or I'm sorry, not the for statement, but the if statement, and I'll say, let's say A equals 10 and B equals 3. So now I've got two variables. And if I come in here and I say if, and I'll say A is greater than B, and then all I'm going to do is just come in here and put my colon, and you'll see here I need to do that tab, and I'll say print A is greater than B. And if I hit enter, it's actually going to print that field. Now another option to this would be is if A is greater than B, print A is greater than B, and should be able to execute that as an individual line. Now what this does is this shorthand is a way of allowing me to be able to compress my coding into fewer lines, but at the same time it can make it a little bit more difficult to be able to interpret it. And I would highly recommend that you guys spend some time in the essential coding reference and play around with some of those syntax values. So there's more in that guide than there is in this particular VOD, and there will even be more in there than what we'll be talking about inside of the actual class, because there's a lot of things in there that I don't do in the class that you may or may not be interested in doing when it comes to your real world adventures into the idea of automation and Python. So I just wanted to introduce that concept to you, and also take an opportunity to show you guys the coding reference. Everybody should have a copy of it, and it will become an essential tool, an essential reference. I'm sure I use it all the time because I'm constantly forgetting little itty bitty details, because I don't work with Python quite as much anymore since I discovered Ansible as my network configuration tool of choice, because I do a lot of ACI and there's already a lot of things written for it. So just wanted to clarify that. So I'll see you guys in the next video when we start talking about for loops.